And I forgot about Steve Good. He was around too. Steve Good. Yeah, he was around. He used to be my little ride.
I'm not familiar with him.
Oh, really?
Tell us a little about him.
Steve Good, he's Michael Conception's best friend now. But Steve lived right up the street from me. Steve was, he always had a car. He was into cars. But, yeah, I caught a robbery with him. Steve was a hustler, yeah. That boy.
Bonnie doing robbery?
Man, him and Melvin, I caught a straight robbery in Hollywood.
Well, you must have beat it if you got the job at the phone company.
Oh, yeah, no. What happened? Yeah, the phone company didn't catch it. Probation did. When I went to the county and I had to go and do some stuff. Yeah, the county caught it.
For the dime moves and the lokes, for the 6-4s on spokes, for the OGs that did a dime, came back around on parole, for the homegirls with the scrap game, little homies that gang bang, from Pelican Bay to YA, rearrange your mind frame. Yeah, I know what you've been through, shit you had to go tend to. Your mama gave birth on the turf, I know them killers you kin to. This for the lost generation, broke as hell, man.
Lifting weights and I was on swole, they start calling me Big Miz.
Kev Mac video, you know. Show, for sure. Kev Mac video, open your soul.
This is only the beginning.
You mentioned Mike Conception. Who's Mike Conception and who was his running mates, his crew?
Michael Conception and I grew up in the projects together. Michael lived in, a lot of people don't know this, Michael lived in the Imperial Court, so his brothers and my brothers, they were like best friends. But Michael was always shooting dice. Michael was always around us. Pookie and Michael hung together. But Michael he was just a little badass. Michael was a little badass.
Where do you live at around here?
When they came from the projects, I want to say Michael then moved to Gardena. I think he was in the Gardena area.
What about Michael Christian? Are you familiar with that guy?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
What can you tell me about him?
All I remember, Michael Christian was at school when he became the bodybuilder. Yeah. He hung with Melvin and a lot of them over here. Michael grew up over here, but that's that wildfire I was telling you about. All them they came on the second wave to me. That's just my opinion. Yeah. And no disrespect, because they were there. Everybody have a Crip story. You know what I'm saying? Right. But in the beginning, all this stuff these people talking about and all these people, I promise you, I can't. And I was there.
So my question is, when did you first hear of the Inglewood Crips?
See, to me now, Inglewood Crips would be the people in that would be Inglewood to me. The guys I was the chain gang or whoever, that would be Inglewood. Because see, that division came, because I didn't even hear, the division came when the division came. Y'all probably know. When they came up with the Hoovers, the UGs, the Blocks, and all this silly, we would have been so much better if we had to just stay East Side. Not saying none of it's good.
Right.
I'm not glorifying any of it. Lord knows I'm not. But if they had to just stay East Side and West Side, they would have been so much better.
Something pops in my mind with Tookie's roaming around the city and having different road dogs and different relationships. Because you was mentioning he was with Blacky and then Jackie and then Jamel. Mm-hmm. So somewhere in that mix, him and Blacky kind of fell off? Or was Blacky still in the mix during Tookie's whole journey to Compton and back and all that?
No. Blacky did. You're so right. Blacky fell off. Blacky became, I think, on another level, Blacky became a hustler. Blacky became a robber. Because he was with Spanky. I forgot about Spanky was around too. Bobby Alexander. But Blacky started hustling and robbing. Blacky was a robber. That's like that whole situation.
That's his MO.
He was a robber, and that's what he did. That's what he did.
Tookie was the weightlifter and Blacky was the robber.
Tookie lifting weights and working at the factory, because Blacky didn't even come up to Banning. Now that I think about it, so there was a division there. Buddha was Tookie's. Buddha, Warlock. Well, Buddha and Tookie was really close. Buddha was. They became very close. That was probably the closest person to him before. No, Erskin. Erskin was the closest. And I don't know what happened with him and Erskin. I don't know what happened, where they fell off at. As I got older and think back, I believe Erskin was going a different direction, chose to go I'm tired. He saw where this was headed, and he kind of...
His name kind of fades out the mix.
Exactly. Then, after Erskin, him and Buddha became close. Then Buddha passed. And it was somebody else I forgot in between there. We forget Godfather. Then him and Godfather became close. And I think that's when Jackie came in, because by the time when he got to Godfather, that was in Compton. When he got shot up that time, Godfather was there, but I don't know. Godfather was... it was too many mysteries about Godfather. They were talking about he was this old man. I'm like, who is he really?
So it sounds like Tookie and Blacky didn't hook back up until all that boys' home stuff was over, and Tookie went back to 69th Step Pop's house.
No, him and Blacky, right? It could have been said he was back at his stepfather's bodybuilding. No, when he hooked up with Blacky and started doing that Sherm, Tookie was bodybuilding, but I believe he was working at the house in Compton. He was still, because when he first got into bodybuilding, he was at
Well, Compton came to an end like in 77. That robbery was 79. So that's kind of how I'm kind of looking at it.
Maybe so. But the first time I saw that big jug of that protein drink he used to have, he was running a boys' home off of El Segundo by that ditch over there, off of El Segundo and Central. It wasn't a big red house. He was running that house, and it was around the corner from the house he got shot up in. And he was drinking that protein drink. So when he got shot, he wasn't on PCP. He was still bodybuilding. So it could have been after he left there, he went, because those homes shut down, because now it's getting crazy out there in them streets. He might have been back over there. But him and Blacky was definitely selling water, because he told me the story. So I know how he got on the PCP. And then I remember his sister, Mitri, rest in peace, her kid's dad, Alan, they lived over off of Manchester by the freeway, Manchester and Grand. And she would tell me how he would come through there and just go in the refrigerator and take the man's damn PCP. So he started jacking for PCP.
So
he started running into dope houses.
Let me ask you this. Do you remember the day that you heard of Tookie being arrested for those murders? Where were you? What's your memory of that day?
When I heard about the murders, Tookie being arrested for those murders, was it when Blacky? I didn't hear about it on the news, or because I'm living in Compton. I'm on Castlegate in Compton now. And Blacky called me. That's when I told him to run. So had Tookie been arrested? Yeah, he had been. So I didn't hear like from the family or anything. And I'm sure his mom had probably told my mom, but no one told me. I heard it from Blacky. And then I end up going to see him. Blacky called me. And when he told me about the murders, I told him to run. That's how I found out he was from Canada. That's when I found out. And I told him to run. Shortly after that, I go visit Tookie in the county jail. And because I didn't heard about the chains being broke now.
Before you told us about Tookie being arrested 1,000 times, DA rejects, did you think this is one of those incidents, another DA reject, or did you know this was something different?
I didn't know. I didn't know it was anything different until trial started. I didn't. I don't know if I was just, I don't know what kind of block I had, but I didn't think it was anything until he started going to trial. And the attorneys because now the family is talking like, okay, the stepfather and put out all this money and that, and then I'm still young and I'm having no knowledge of the criminal justice system like that. Never had no encounters or nothing on this magnitude. You know what I'm saying? So he was like the first to really go up for something serious in our family. My brother, he did that little murder. Maybe I'm thinking he's going to do 7 to life, you know, possibility of parole. But as the trial started going on, that's when I realized this is serious. And I even told him, I didn't know it was serious. When I went down there, I was sitting there waiting to visit him. And some little girls was there. No, I'm visiting him and he had braided his hair. And some little girls walked by and they say, that's the man that broke the chains. I had heard about this, but I didn't believe it. The handcuffs or the chains or whatever. So the little girls had walked by and they pointed to him and said, that's the man that broke the chains. And I'm like, what did you do? And yeah, he said he had broke the handcuffs or the chains and that was that PCP in his system. So yeah, that really happened.
When did you realize this was serious, and when did you guys realize Blacky went bad on Took? Or did you guys? You know, I try to do research. I can't find no video or newspaper articles on the trial or the court dates.
Oh, really? Because it was a mess.
A news blackout.
It was a mess. It was a mess.
So you don't remember watching the news or any catching?
I don't remember. I don't remember seeing it on the news. You never found anything, huh?
No.
You know what? I don't think until I've learned more doing the rallying for his execution than I ever knew. Other than the time in '92 when he came for an appeal. I was in court because we had reconnected in '92, and it was a mess. And by then, no, I wasn't majoring in criminal justice, but I was old enough and knew enough about life to know that it was a mess.
Okay.
With Blacky turning state's evidence, it was crazy because when I heard about it, my brother happened to be down. I don't know if it was Torrance Court. My brother was in court. Listen, do you know he saw Blacky leaving court the day that he went to turn state's evidence? And I do know this, that Blacky's mom was friends with Sergeant Jones because she worked at the bank. So Blacky's mom was close to Sergeant Jones. And I know, like I said, Blacky was my BFF. So I'm trying to think anything other than the fact that he did that. But I found out later, Warlock even did time for Blacky. Blacky did an attempted murder robbery on that guy, Michael Felden. I forget the case. Yeah, he did a attempted murder robbery before this as a juvenile. And Warlock ended up doing the time on that. So the homies say ain't no excuse. I'm like, well, his mother made him turn state's evidence. This was what Bonnie would say. Mm-hmm. His parents made him, not justifying it. You know, nigga, you from the streets. You know, we don't do that. And I'm not justifying it, but his mom, friends with Sergeant Jones, convinced him that was the best thing to happen. But when I think back, like, damn, I didn't know Cedric had did time. Warlock did time for you before.
Yeah, progress.
Come on, nigga. Yeah, this is you.
So let me ask you this: when Blacky turned state evidence, so he never got booked for these murders along with Took, and he was out on the streets during the whole trial.
Out on the streets during the whole trial. But then when I got the paperwork, I don't know what I did with it. Hell, he wasn't the only one. The rest of them, what was their name?
Yeah, it was like at least 3 or 4
Yeah,
more.
they started talking too. So, but my take on that, and it will always be this, is that you have 4 known. In each case with Tookie, there was multiple perpetrators, right? Each case, multiple perpetrators. How you gonna give one 7 years, one life, one something else, one go free, and then kill this man when ballistics never proved that the shot came from Tookie's gun? Even in the that motel, I know Tookie, I know who was with him. The ballistics never showed that he was the shooter.
You know what's crazy?
Multiple perpetrators, all of them shooting, even in the 7-Eleven. I don't know. That was Blacky's MO.
And that motel was 2 blocks away from Blacky's house.
That's the motel we used to go to. That was, I'm like, oh my God. That was our little honeycomb hideout. Me, him, Blacky, and Gayla would double date and go.
So Blacky was familiar with the layout of that whole motel.
Yes. Now I don't think Blacky was there on the motel, but it was multiple perpetrators in each case. How you just gonna execute, not give them life. You're gonna execute one individual when you have multiple perpetrators, and none of the ballistics ever really proved that he was the shooter.
They wanted to.
Yeah, they did. They wanted him because you know what? They could not. And Raymond was. Isn't it ironic? Raymond died in 79, and in a sense, Tookie's life ended in 79 as well. But they needed a fall guy for this out of control society with gangs that they couldn't control, that went worldwide. So they really tried to make an example out of him. But if you go back and even right to this day, the system overkills these children. You know what I'm saying? I worked in the juvenile system for 22 years. I saw where my older brother, who's now 80, murdered a man in self-defense was sentenced to 7 to life, did what he had to do in prison, went to the board, paroled home, and never looked back. So, and I say that to say they overkill. You give these kids, when they get out here and start committing crime, they don't give a fuck. That's their mentality. I'm gonna be gone for life anyway. So they kill up a whole bunch of people. They rob a whole bunch of stores, because they know that they're not going to ever see daylight again. That's just my stance on it, that they give up hope because they know this system, first of all, is not designed for them. We know that. It's not going to help you because it wasn't designed for you. And we saw that with Rothan, whatever his name is. And I do believe that kid was, in a sense, defending himself, but it's just, damn, you killed 2 people and ain't nothing happened, dude. Yeah, so anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I just think that it's an overkill. And I don't believe that no one's life should be taken. Not with all this stuff going, even from the drugs that y'all put here to mess up their mind, with the PTSD that they suffer from. Why mental health don't come into effect when it comes to us? Mm-hmm. Why can't we look at the trauma, the childhood traumas, when it comes to our children? You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. If they do something, they should be punished. And then, like, when I was in college, the criminal justice system was designed to punish and rehabilitate. That's what it was designed for, not to kill, to punish and rehabilitate. When y'all gonna get back to that? That's it.
Let me ask you something. I'm gonna rewind to Blacky in this case. After this case was over, Blacky's still free roaming South Central. Are you guys spotting him or hearing about him? Is anybody communicating with him after Tookie?
No. He went in hiding. No one. He was right here on 92nd in Vermont for the longest. Because Gayla and I, his kid's mother, are best friends right to this day. Her kids is my nieces and nephews. I'm their auntie. That's my sis. But he went in hiding low key. Now somebody seen him and was like, "Damn, I almost got him." They was really saying they're about to get him. Thank God they didn't. So Blacky stayed here, and then what happened? He caught a case. He was getting little minor cases because now he on drugs. He's probably screwed up in the head, paranoid, because he's afraid for his life because he know the word on the street. So he caught a case that they had to deport him. He had went back to Canada doing this Tookie's trial period. He went back to Canada, I believe, more than once, but the family there didn't want him there, so they sent him back. He came back to California, and then he was sentenced. He was deported. That's when he went and stayed in, I don't know if you guys know, he caught a murder back there.
In Ottawa, Canada.
Yeah. He caught a murder back there.
You know he passed away in
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah. Yeah. My niece got his ashes. Yeah. Yeah.
Your niece got his ashes?
Which is his daughter. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
She had to send for him, and yeah. Because his sister, she just moved from over there not a few years ago. She left from over on 102nd.
Off topic, but kind of not. Where were you at when Raymond Washington was murdered? Do you remember that?
I remember when, I don't remember like what happened, because I was just asking somebody what really happened to Raymond, but that was in '79.
Yeah.
So I'm at the phone company. I'm in the clubs now. I'm on something different. But yeah, Raymond and Craig and I was real close. Craig Crowder, but yeah, Raymond.
You knew Craig Crowder?
Well, that was my. Oh Lord, yeah.
You met him in what, 70?
Yeah. Yep. Craig was a fool. Yeah, Craig was a fool.
Do you give credit for having your kid for you to leaving the gang life? Was that the pivot?
Yes, becoming a mother. Yeah. It was. I had to be a mom. I can't do this. And then it went crazy, and it was God, because if I hadn't left, I would have been probably felt obligated to be a part of this mess, that it became. Although I do feel bad because of what we created with no intentions whatsoever for it to be what it is today. You know what I mean? None of us had no intention. If these kids could rewind and just see how we did it, not saying we were saints, because I still feel bad now when I see, because we snatched purses. I didn't push some old ladies down. You know what I'm saying? But compared to what it is today, it was clean fun. Guns, yeah, I carried plenty of guns for them, but they didn't use them unless they had to,
Was Tookie's your son? Was he aware of who his daddy was while he was growing up, or he learned his legacy later?
Oh, no. His dad raised him from behind bars. His dad was hands-on from Trey was 5, I believe, when his dad went up, but he stayed in his life. From that phone, he raised him from behind the bars, and
so he knew who Pops was.
Oh yeah, and he was raised not to tell nobody, you don't go, which I found out later, nigga, you over there, nigga, you over there you over there gang banging, you got darn self, and I told you I was your big homie.
But Bonnie, you're a success story. You came from out of that mud.
Oh yeah.
Went to college, went and got a professional job. Homeowner, I'm assuming.
Oh, yes.
Are there any other of your friends or people you grew up with a similar story?
You know what? Not too many. Not too many. I'm really blessed. Not too many. And that's, and I wish, no, not too many. Not too many. And I don't, I'm a very humble, God-fearing woman, but and I never really thought about it until you asked. I'm like, oh, that's why I get some of that little flack, huh? And people, it's funny. I don't care, but they think I'm some kind of way, or she thinks she better. No, I don't. But I came from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know the story. I'm gonna put it in that book. But some of the shit y'all crying about, girl, bye.
They should be congratulating you.
Right, because y'all don't. These kids, some of my girlfriends, we talk now how this generation is watered down, and I don't know if it's our fault as the parents because we were able to do more, and in the midst of that, maybe we softened them up a little bit, made them too soft because they're so watered down.
Knowing what you know and experiencing what you experienced. What made you move right here, back to the hood?
Shit.
I mean, to be honest with you, outsiders really don't know. These are middle-class neighborhoods. This is not like ghetto wars. Right. Especially on this end of town.
Yeah, but they don't know when it get to cracking around here. And I guess I'm so used to it. How did, my mother and my sister, who I look up to, was always a hard worker. Although my sister was I have 3 sisters, but this older sister was always dated like pimps, players, and hustlers, but she always kept a job, never did drugs. So I never, just attracted those type of men, but always was smart, always had a job, owned a home. I bought my first home when I was in my 20s, right before the crack area on 92nd and Broadway, because my sister is like, hey, you working for the phone company, you need to, buy a house. Had it built from the ground, but I'm not a saint. I got the white horse, I rode it. I took a ride on that white horse and smoked that house up. Built from the ground and smoked it up. But yeah, so and I say that to say that this is what I saw. This is what was instilled in me growing up, buy a house, go to school. And most of the original crew, we had to go to school. I went back and my daddy said, you have to graduate. I had a kid, but he said, you have to graduate. You have to finish high school. And that's what I did. Get insurance. This is things that just stayed with me. And I guess other people had it, but I don't know. I don't know. And then moving back over here, that was a whole story because we have a house. The house I grew up in, we still have. I
was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, we still have the house I grew up in, but during the time when my mom left in the 90s and moved to Victorville, because it's getting a little crazy, and they put an apartment building next to the house we grew up in, and she's like, I got to go. So she left and went to Victorville. Well, she left me in the house that we grew up in, but now all the nieces and nephews that's riding a white horse want to feel that's mommy's house. We can come here. Look, I'm on something different. I got kids. Y'all can't be smoking crack out here and coming knocking on the door and fighting with your girlfriend and boyfriend 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So I leave the family house because I couldn't take it no more. Dealing with family had me all messed up, depressed and everything. So I move on 88th and Halldale. And then I'm renting. So 88th and Halldale, it was my niece's friends who owned it. They ended up selling the property, whatever. So my husband at the time, which was a pastor, found this house in 92. Mm-hmm. And we actually came here renting. The lady who we rent from, her husband dies a few years later. She hit hard time, and I'm getting all this mail, foreclosure. I'm like, what the heck? I called the number one day, jump on it, and was able to purchase it.
Good shit.
Yeah.
In 92?
Yeah, well, actually, we stayed here from 92. I didn't purchase it until 99.
Still.
Yeah, but I've been here since 92. So and I ain't going, I want to go like Michael Conception. He'd be like, Bonnie, you need to get out the hood. I'm like, nigga, I ain't you. I can't afford to get out the hood. Shit, and you gonna help me?
Right.
But he say, sell it. Boy.
And move where?
Where?
And pay what property tax after you move?
Exactly. He's saying, I told him, I'm not aggressive. I can't afford to be aggressive. I'm poor. So he sell it, buy some property, and you then enjoy your 70s. I will go batshit crazy if I sell my house and something go bad, and then where I'm going to go. So I will never sell. Not, I ain't selling shit now. I wish I had scooted a little further to Van Ness.
Right. Because I know since 1999, the equity in this thing has skyrocketed.
Oh yeah.
No, you're doing it the smart way.
Yeah.
I was just saying, it's 11:35.
Okay.
Gotta go.
I do. I been ran my mouth talking about I didn't want to do no interview. Huh? I ain't shut up yet. Look, I know. That's Sean. You and Sean did.
You keep pointing at the time. I'm like, why are you pointing at the time?
Look, Sean over here got me going and had me tell too much. I'm not throwing y'all, but you edit this stuff.
Yeah, I'll cut all this out.
But yeah, so I hope I gave you something. And it helps me because now I can go right. Because it kind of tweak my
Bring your
memory.
memory.
Yeah,
That's what we do
yeah.
every time.
Because I don't talk, and I'm a talker anyway. But I don't, you know, everybody don't. Yeah. Well, I know Kevin, y'all gonna want to hear the stories, and you guys do a good job too. You do. I listen. Sometimes I sit up and I just listen to some of the old interview, or somebody will call when they mad at somebody. Oh, did you see that interview? That's not being funny. Oh, you get the call. Did you? And that doesn't move me as far as like, because everyone has a Crip story. I'm not denying when I say I birthed it. I say I birthed that. I was mad though because this is some stuff was going on. Bitch, I birthed that shit. So don't tell me nothing about what you did and what you may have. I don't know about it. I can't speak on what I don't know, and I'm not gonna sit and lie and say. But I know from the beginning. You may have did in the middle or whatever, but you wasn't there and you didn't know from the beginning. I know.
Sitting reminiscing about the